Hi, my name is Carmen and am an early childhood special education teacher, a life and ADHD coach, and I'm the host of this podcast, Authentically ADHD. I created this podcast to help anyone wondering if they have ADHD, people who have been diagnosed for a while and want some more support and community. I'm here to bring you the latest research on ADHD and neurodiversities while we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of ADHD. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Hi, my friend, and welcome back to Authentically ADHD. I'm your host, Carmen, and I'm so glad that you're here. Can you believe that it's October already? Because when I'm recording this early, I can't believe that I have episodes recorded up to October. By this time, I will have seen one of my favorite artists perform already in Chicago, and we will be going into parent-teacher conferences and things like that. So, yeah, that just spiked my anxiety a little bit. Yeah. So, let's talk about why you're all here. How many times have you said, "Give me 5 more minutes," and it's never 5 more minutes? Do you find yourself rushing around in chaos all the time? Racing the clock? If so, this episode is definitely for you. So, today we're diving into the world of time hacking, creative approaches for ADHD time management. If you have ADHD, you struggle with managing your time. Or maybe you felt overwhelmed by the traditional time management techniques. So let's dig in. I've personally faced countless challenges with time management. I often feel like I'm racing against the clock. Not so much anymore, but I can definitely remember there's one memorable moment when I was so hyper focused one morning on a project or a podcast. I forget what it was. I was almost so late for work. It was definitely a little bit of a wake up call that I needed to start implementing some strategies around ADHD and my time management. So, in this episode, we're going to explore the unique ways that ADHD minds perceive and interact with time, and why conventional methods often fall short. And then I'm going to share some creative out-of-the-box strategies tailored specifically for ADHD brains. Remember, you can always make these tips work for you. You can keep them or throw them away. It's your choice. So from leveraging hyperfocus to utilizing visual aids and gamification, my favorite, these innovative approaches are designed to make time management not just possible, but kind of enjoyable, especially when you gamify stuff. That's my personal favorite way to manage time. You'll learn some practical tips and tricks to help you stay organized, prioritized, and make the most of your time, all while staying true to your authentic self. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone looking to get a better handle on your daily routine, these ADHD-friendly strategies can empower anyone to take control of their time and live a more balanced and fulfilling life. So, let's get started. We're going to start with understanding how ADHD affects our perception of time and the management of ourselves within time. ADHD brains do not develop the perception or skill of time passing in our brains, leaving us literally time blind. This is why we need all the timers and clocks everywhere and watches and alarms to remind us, because the feeling of passing time, it doesn't exist in our brains. For many of us, time can feel fluid, almost as if it just slips through our fingers. This can lead to difficulties in estimating how long tasks will take, often resulting in missed deadlines or a constant feeling of being rushed or in chaos, running late to things, important things that you want to go to, and that you want to be on time for, but our brains just really give us a hard time. Some of the common challenges that go along with this include procrastination, difficulty starting tasks, and getting easily distracted. When you put those things together and really think about it, and we have a hard time starting a task we don't want to do, and we get easily distracted by another task, and then we're procrastinating on the priority, that's procrastivity right there. If you don't know what procrastivity is, I will tell you right here. It's in a lot of my episodes, but procrastivity is basically the action of doing like around the house chores instead of a priority task like recording a podcast or writing my lesson plan. So these issues we usually get, these issues are not due to laziness or lack of effort, as society would like us to think, but rather a difference in the wiring of our brains. And recognizing and understanding this and being self aware about this is the first step in finding strategies that work for us. So it's really essential to find ADHD specific strategies that align with our unique way of experiencing time. Traditional methods like rigid schedules and generic to-do lists often fail because they don't accommodate for our need for flexibility and engagement. So let's look at some creative approaches that do. Now, one of them is leveraging hyperfocus. One of the unique traits that some ADHDers possess is hyperfocus. I say some because not all ADHDers experience hyperfocus. I am one of the people I do, okay? Hyperfocus is something that I can leverage, and I do in this way. So hyperfocus is an intense concentration, and it can be a powerful tool if harnessed correctly. It allows us to drive deeply into tasks, often losing track of time and tuning out all external distractions. Now, as much as that can sound super, super helpful, I want to put in a warning here that getting into hyperfocus can sometimes be maladaptive if you forget to meet your basic needs. This can happen when in hyperfocus because we have tuned out all external distractions, including the ones that are being done by our own body. So like hunger, you have to go pee, like you need water, whatever it is. We forget to meet those. And when you do that for a long period of time and over a long period, like repeatedly, it can lead to burnout. And it can really, I've done this before where I've hyper focused on finishing a task because I just wanted it to be done, and it was a long-term task, and I ended up making it so that I was almost done with the task, but I was pretty much burned out all the way until the task was due, and I still had to finish the rest of it right in the nick of time. So don't forget to meet your basic needs. Make sure you have water available. Take short breaks even when you're in hyperfocus to check in with your body and make sure like that you're eating, going to the bathroom, and staying hydrated. To leverage hyperfocus effectively, identify tasks that align with your interests and passions. Break up your work into chunks and set specific goals for each session. For example, if you're writing a report, focus on completing one section at a time. So, break it down. What parts of the report do you need, right? First, you need to research about the report, and then you need to do an outline of an introduction, your body of the report, your conclusion. And if you don't know how long these things are going to take, time them. Time it. I used to think that it took me forever to empty the dishwasher until one time when I was making my lunch in the microwave. I was reheating leftovers, and it was in the microwave for 3.5 minutes. I emptied the dishwasher right as the beep went off for the microwave. I'm like, I thought it takes me 3.5 minutes. That's something that was another big wake-up call to time some of the other tasks, like doing laundry, which I thought took a lot longer than just, 18 minutes to fold, literally to take out of the dryer, fold and put away and put the basket back where it goes. 18 minutes at most, and I was moving slow when I timed that. So remember to balance your hyperfocus with regular breaks to avoid burnout. I have a free burnout course within this podcast and on my Patreon, which is linked in the show notes. Use timers to remind yourself to take those breaks and practice shifting your focus when it's needed. This balance will ensure that you stay productive without exhausting yourself and using all of your spoons. Another way that we can manage ourselves within time is visual aids and tools. I have found that these are incredibly beneficial for ADHD time management. Our brains often respond better to visual cues and audio cues than written or verbal ones. So using planners, calendars, and timers can help create a structured environment that's easy to navigate. Personally, I use Sensama. So a lot of the time when I'm in deep work during the day, there's a Sensama app timing going, and I have already planned how long I'm going to spend on the task. It alerts me with a bell when it's 10 minutes to the end and then 5 minutes to the end, so I know when it's time for me to stop. So that's something that I use. It's also visual. I also have one of those timers with the clock and the timer next to it. I use that timer a lot. I use podcasts. I will pick a podcast that's a certain amount of time, and I will race the podcast, race the timer, type of thing. Also, color coding your schedule can make it more engaging and easier to follow. I personally don't do this because it's a little more detailed, but you can assign different colors to various types of tasks such as work, personal time, and exercise. Actually, now that I think about this, I do this in Sensama. The things are color-coded, but I don't really pay attention to the colors. But this visual separation can help us quickly identify what needs to be done and when. You can also use a prioritization list, meaning you write out all of your tasks and then gauge them on how important they are. When are they due and to who? So those types of ways are easy ways that we can prioritize, because like time prioritization is another thing that we don't develop. People who non-ADHD brains develop top-down priority ability to just kind of know what needs to be done first, and we don't develop that. Ours is kind of more not top down. It's like side to side, so it's like a horizontal. Everything, it seems all important all at one time. So that's usually what gets us stuck in task paralysis. So like visual reminders and digital notifications that take up your whole phone screen that you need to swipe away. I make mine interrupt all of my apps. So usually I'm using my phone to listen to something. So if it's interrupting what I'm listening to, I have to get my phone in order to look at the phone and look at the notification or the reminder in order to make it go away so that it keeps me on track. I do use sticky notes, but rarely. When I do use them, I don't put them just on my desk or in just random regular places. Otherwise, they quickly become a part of my environment. So if I need to remind myself to do something right in the morning, I will put the sticky note right in the middle of my mirror or my computer screen, somewhere that I know I'm going right in the beginning of the day. Things like this and hacks like this, like keeping my walking shoes right by my desk, which is where I go every morning, making it easy for me to slip right into them to go on a walk. These things will make your day go smoother, and you'll be able to manage yourself within time so much better if you make those transitions also more smooth, okay? Just really put the sticky notes in locations that you will see them. These tools can serve as little gentle nudges to stay focused on your tasks or full out reminders that you have a doctor's appointment or something. I do plan the night before so that I know if I have an appointment the next day, or, if I need to set on an outfit, how early I need to get up during the summer at least. During the week, I know what time I need to get up during school. So that works for me. Next, we're going to talk about my favorite technique, gamification. So, turning tasks into game like experiences. Gamification can make time management fun and motivating. It involves creating a reward system that encourages you to complete tasks and stay on schedule. For example, you can set up a point system where you earn points for completing tasks on time. Accumulate enough points and reward yourself with something you enjoy, like a treat or a break to watch your favorite show. This system can transform mundane tasks into exciting challenges. I love to race the timer, and I do this in different ways. I use actual timers, or I find podcasts, or I make playlists that are as long as the task that needs to be done. And I go and try to see if I can beat the podcast or this playlist in how long it takes me. Now, don't do this too fast. You will hurt yourself. Ask me how I know. I used this strategy actually to set up my classroom. I was listening to a podcast and I raced the podcast. Knowing the general layout of a podcast and the beginning, middle, and end, I was able to kind of gauge and know how much time I had left, and I did. I beat the timer. Go visit my TikTok. There is, I think it's also on YouTube Shorts and Instagram. A little classroom transformation from July or August, the beginning of August probably. And so I love incorporating these kind of things, especially in transforming mundane tasks into more exciting things like showering, doing the dishes, doing laundry, vacuuming. I almost always have a headphone in my ear where I'm listening to something that I like to listen to, whether that be something on YouTube or a favorite podcast, an audiobook, or music. Sometimes I just like to have lo-fi in my ears. You can use apps that incorporate gamification elements like Habitica or Forest or Finch. Those can also be effective. Those apps allow you to set goals, track your progress, earn little rewards, making time management really more interactive and enjoyable. The next tip is to break tasks into manageable chunks. Now, ADHDers are notoriously known for overfilling our plates, so breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks is a powerful strategy for us for time management. Large tasks can feel very overwhelming and looming, and they lead to procrastination because we don't know where to start. So by dividing them into smaller steps, you make them more approachable and easier to tackle. Start by listing out all the steps that you need to complete the project. Then focus on one step at a time and celebrate your progress as you go. Time the things that you're doing so that you know how much time each task takes, especially if it's a repeat task. This approach will reduce the intimidation factor and will keep you motivated from now until, well, a while. It's worked for me for a couple of years now. Real life examples can be inspiring. For instance, if you're working on a big project, break it down into research, outlining, drafting, and editing phases. Tackling each phase separately helps maintain focus and momentum. It also helps keep out perfectionism. The next one is to utilize technology. Guys, technology offers so many tools now to assist with ADHD and time management. The apps and digital tools that help you stay organized and stay on track. Some of the popular ones include Trello, Sunsama for task management, Google Calendar, which I use for scheduling, and Pomodoro timers for time blocking. I forgot to mention that Sunsama actually has the Pomodoro timer built in as well, so you can switch it and it can be Pomodoro times or your own. Setting up these tools for yourself effectively is crucial. take the time to customize them to suit your needs. For example, use Trello to create boards for different projects and set deadlines, and sync your Google Calendar with reminders to keep you aware of upcoming tasks. This is what I do with Sansama and Google Calendars. I sync them, and so that way my phone also reminds me, like, hey, you have this thing today, especially if I forgot to plan the night before. Then when you do balance those digital tools with offline strategies, that's important too. While technology can be a great aid, it's essential to have tangible tools like planners and notebooks to compartmentalize all of the clutter that we have. This combination ensures you have multiple ways to stay organized. You have something written down in more than one place. This is the strategy that I use. I use a written planner and things online. You can also use ChatGPT and Goblin Dot tools to help you break down tasks and help estimate how much time it'll take. Building a flexible yet structured routine is key for effective time management for ADHD. I do have a whole podcast about routines and revamping them, but really quickly, routines just provide a sense of stability and predictability, which can help reduce anxiety and improve our focus, especially on bad brain days. When you create your routine, incorporate regular breaks and transition times. Plan in time for travel if you need it. Flexibility is important because it allows you to adapt to the unexpected changes without feeling completely derailed and wanting to give up. Start with a basic structure and adjust it as needed to find what works best for you. Remember, routines are not set in stone. It's okay to tweak them as you discover what suits your ADHD brain, or if you just want some novelty. The goal is to create a rhythm that supports your productivity and well-being for your season of life. To recap, today we explored creative approaches to ADHD time management. We discussed understanding ADHD and time perception, leveraging hyperfocus, using visual aids and tools, gamification techniques, breaking tasks into manageable chunks, utilizing technology, and building a routine that works for you. Remember, the key is to experiment with different strategies and find what resonates with you. Each person with ADHD is unique, so tailor the approaches to work with your strengths and preferences. Thank you for pressing play today on this episode of Authentically ADHD. I hope you found these tips helpful and maybe inspiring. If you have your own time management tips or success stories, I'd love to hear from you. You can drop it in the comments box below. You can send me a voice note. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned for the next episode where we will dive into another exciting topic. Until then, stay authentic, and we will talk soon.
Speaking of extra supports, I just wanted to tell you all that I've updated my Patreon page to include all of the resources that I've really ever made to be held in one place. Just head to my show notes. The VIP members do get a little extra, but you can also purchase like my brand new Ultimate ADHD Journal and Planner, which I've been using for the past year. That has worked. Nothing is priced over $10, and everything is at least 50 to 100 pages that you can download and print. You can get it to bind it and sent to you, or you can just read it off your screen and use notebook paper. So if you want or need any type of that kind of extra support, just head to my show notes and click the Patreon link to join. I hope to see you in there.